Greetings, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to my YouTube channel. I'm so glad to be able to be back and actually recording something. It's been too long, but I'm so glad to be back. Today, I really felt on my spirit a little bit in terms of speaking about fasting, and not necessarily that it's going to be a long, drawn out video or conversation, but I just want to pose a few questions for you all, and maybe toggle back a little bit in terms of what it means to really fast. I really wanted to share a little bit more about fasting. I just been thinking so much recently, and it's really something that it's almost like a process of purifying your heart to hear God. And it's really something that, for me personally, I don't know, I want to do better at. I really want to do better at. But I also think, too, based on just what the word says and really how we're supposed to live our life, truthfully, we should be fasting our whole entire lives. Meaning we should be dying to ourselves to become more awakened in Christ. So truthfully, that's, and out of transparency, that's really where I'm at. And I wanted to share it just to see and pose a question to you. Where are you at with that? What does it look like to live a life where you're fasting from sin, or you're fasting from certain things in order to die to Christ? What does that look like for you? Where do you go from there? Who do you have as an advisor, a preacher, a teacher, friend, family member who can really guide you along that path? Because fasting is a life journey. It's a life journey. And truthfully, it's interesting how you'll have it where there's so many people who will go for it to do it a month or 2 weeks or 3 months. But the reality of the situation is that fasting is a lifetime. A lifetime. It's a lifetime. Every day we have to die to ourselves to live more for Christ. We have to really seek others the way that Christ wants us to seek them, and not just fulfilling our own desires. We have to seek experiences. We have to seek counsel every single day. And every single day, truthfully, we're having to make a sacrifice of what does it really mean for me to choose and live for God instead of my own desires. That's what I'm thinking about. It's a lot. It's a journey. It's hard. It's challenging, because really this walk is fasting. It's a willingness to say Jesus is more worth it than me. So I just want to pose that question as we continue walking through this new year of what it means to actually fast in order to pursue a relationship with Him. And though it's not perfect, we're not perfect, but we're progressing. So truthfully, I should say we're progressing towards greatness. Another thing I want to add too is a conversation concerning setting out time apart to really hear from God. I think those times are extremely important, as it says in the Bible, to continue to fast and fast and pray without ceasing. But I also feel like there's certain things that we have to take away after that fasting period to implement in our daily lives moving forward, so that we are continually dying to ourselves, not just for a month, a week, or two, but for the rest of our lives. So I'm just challenging you all to think about what it means to truly fast in whatever season you're in of life, and how you're really relying on Christ in this moment. So lastly, I just want to leave you with this. What does fasting mean to you? This doesn't have to be answered in the comments or via my email or anything of that nature, but feel free to respond and keep the conversation going. Because for me, and I'm sure for others too, there's been a perception that fasting is more so about you scheduling out a month or a few weeks in your calendar in order to really hear from God. But I guess I want to challenge us to think about, in our lives in general, what does it truly mean to fast for God?